Yo, 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 Don Mafia. As promised, we've been doing this thing for about a month now, I want to say, where we bring together a bunch of creators from the AFC East. I am assuming the majority of the people in the chat thus far are Bills fans, but, Jets, Miami Dolphins, and yes, even Patriots fans. They're welcome to this conversation. And we have a lot to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. But first, I want to go on ahead and I want to round table and make an introduction of everybody. We all understand that while we are Bills fans or while we do love our own specific team, it's important to really go on ahead and do your research on the enemy, right? So let's go on ahead. Let's start off with Richie with the NY Jets Media. And so why don't you go ahead and just make an intro of yourself, Richie, and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, my name is Richie. I started this channel last year, actually the week before the season last year, and I've been posting daily Jets content. So I've been posting the Jets content all throughout the season last year and carrying over to the offseason. I've been posting daily training camp videos. So if you guys want to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at NYJetsMedia, I also have a Jets fan page where I basically provide all the latest up-to-date news on the New York Jets. So yeah, check me out on YouTube and all that good stuff. Thanks for having us on, Dan.
Yeah, Rich, me and you are definitely going to revisit the matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the University of Phoenix online on week 1. So, we'll see what's going on. It's going to be a good game, but we will revisit that topic once we get back to the conversation. And so, Tyson, why don't you take it over, man?
Oh, introduce myself?
Yeah.
My channel's name is Master at Work. I'm a Patriots fan. Obviously. I do a lot of parody content, a lot of satire stuff that people take way too seriously. I'm pretty much the embodiment of what people think of Patriots fans: cocky, arrogant, entitled, from Boston, obviously. So I kind of implement that in my content. And like I said, if you guys want to follow me or whatever, just go to my channel, Master at Work. And that's pretty much it, man.
And so, yeah, man, definitely. So, guys, his content is super, super funny. So I definitely recommend going on ahead and checking it out. Last but not least, now, let me preface this by saying that this is the most confident Dolphins fan I have ever met in my entire life. Love TD, has some great stuff going on. TD, and why don't you take it away?
Man, this is TD from TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans, the best team in the AFC East. Don't hate, guys. No comment needed. But yes, man, been building a community for over 2.5 years now. We're 2 years and about 4 months, and we're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We're about 900 away, so we're almost there, guys. And shout out to everybody who came over from TD Fans Talk. We just finished streaming, talking about how we're going to beat Buffalo, the Patriots, and the Jets next year. This year. Let me make sure I'm careful with my words. But yeah, man, just y'all come over, subscribe to the channel. We talk AFC East, we talk Miami Dolphins football. There's nothing wrong with knowing what the enemy's doing. So y'all come on over, and so you'll understand why we're gonna run through the AFC East this year. That's all, Dan. That's all.
Yeah, hey, TD. So I think you were right the first time when you said that next year you might run through the AFC East in 2021.
That too.
I think when you corrected yourself, sort of went back on it. But hey, you know what? This is a different conversation because, shots are already being fired, especially from TD. But let's go on ahead and go into some type of relevant news surrounding around the team, because as Bills fans, we really want to know what's going on with the rest of the AFC East. And we'll start off with Tyson, because the Pats just ended up releasing Mohamed Sanu. I want to say it was thank God, right? Yeah. So what are your thoughts there? And are you concerned with your wide receiver room now?
No.
Okay.
No. We just released Sanu. We got $37 million in cap space. That's a lot of listen, $37 million in cap space pretty much says we could pretty much go out and trade and sign whoever the hell we want to with no questions asked. That means we can go out. We're not going to get Alvin Kamara or Fournette. We don't need a running back. We need a receiver. The trade deadline, I'm 100% certain that Bill Belichick within, I don't know, maybe before the season starts next week, or definitely before the trade deadline, depending on how the season is going, he's going to go out and trade for a very big-time wide receiver to help Cam. $37 million in cap space. That's more than pretty much any other team in the NFL right now that I could think of. I'm not really sure of all the other teams, but $37 million cap space, that pretty much buys us whoever we want. Sanu was trash. He was a bum. He still had the stench from that 28-3 choke job that he did with Atlanta. He couldn't catch anything last year. He was systemic of all the drop passes that Brady was accustomed to last season, especially in that playoff game where he didn't catch a single ball. He couldn't run routes. He got hurt. He was injury prone. He's a bum. I'm glad that he's gone. And listen, you could say, oh, we ain't got no receivers. $37 million in cap space says otherwise to me. So you guys better get ready for a big move that's about to come in the next week or two.
Yeah, man. I mean, that would definitely be interesting. And so, I mean, from a football perspective, and so I hope that the Pats receivers have a terrible year. But I did draft N'Keal Harry.
Me too.
I want to say the 11th round in my fantasy draft. So, I mean, I'm hoping that he does well for every single game besides 2. And that's when they play the Bills. So, I mean, very interesting to see what's going on. So now I feel like as far as the competition standpoint is, we all want to know what's going on with training camp / practice with the Miami Dolphins, of what the hell are the Dolphins going to do with their quarterback situation, TD? So are they throwing the rookie in there, or are they sticking with the veteran with Fitzpatrick? Because we did hear that his mother died. And we love Fitzpatrick as Bills fans, man. We love Fitzy. So, I mean, we definitely have prayers up to him. But as far as that competition is concerned, who's starting week 1?
I think the rookie, he has a 3% chance of starting the season at this point. So don't count on him to come in starting the year. There is a chance that at some point in the season, week 6, week 10, week 12, one of those threshold weeks, you may see him, depending on what the quarterback situation is with the rest. Ryan Fitzpatrick was dealing with the death of his mother. May she rest in peace. But he's right back in practice. He's right back throwing the ball. Right now, I would say that he is the front runner. I think that let me put it like this. Here's the breakup. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick has a 65% chance of starting. I think Josh Rosen has about a 30% chance of starting, and Tua has the other 5. That's where we are with it right now. The coach came out and said that the competition is still ongoing. A lot of the media wants to go ahead and crown Ryan Fitzpatrick the starter already, but the coach made it clear the competition is still going. There's a lot he likes. There's a lot of improvement, but he likes where all 3 of the quarterbacks are. But now they're starting this narrative, although Tua is 100% healthy, they're starting a narrative that their decision to potentially not play him, that is also being considered. Because it's one thing to say you're fully healthy, but wait until that 300-pound guy lays on you. We don't know. So all of that is up in the air right now. But right now, if you were a betting person, you would bet on Ryan Fitzpatrick, but you can actually win a lot more money betting on Rosen because it could potentially happen.
And so that's crazy to me that your rookie phenom has the least likely chance of starting, right? So, I mean, we're definitely going to move on right to the New Jersey Jets here soon. But last question when it comes down to it. So do you see the Dolphins parting ways with a quarterback prior to that Saturday deadline, or do you see them keeping 3 on the roster this year?
Since the rosters have gone up 2 spots, I think we're allowed to have 55-man rosters now. Am I correct, or more?
It was that, but it went back down to 53.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh!
I actually just made it.
So this rule is really, really weird. So this rule is really weird. So it's a 53-man roster, but you can bring up 2 people from your practice squad, I want to say 4 or 5 times a season, and make it a 55. But you can't bring the same 2 people up more than 4 games. It's weird, for lack of a better term, and for just sake of time, let's just say it's 53. But it can be 55 technically.
Okay, that throws a wrench in there because I've always said we're going to maintain 3 quarterbacks because we have 55-man roster now, so it's even more likely to. Now, with it being the way that you all just explained to me, I don't know how I missed that, but I say we still roll with 3 because you have a rookie who they're worrying about potential injuries. He's not ready yet. I'll be honest with you, he's not ready yet. We can throw him in the fire, but he's not ready yet. Will he be the future? Yes, very, very much so, but he's not ready yet. Ryan Fitzpatrick, his arm, we don't know if it'll survive a full season.
Okay.
All right. So I couldn't imagine not keeping the 3 quarterbacks, one being Josh Rosen. And even if they made a massive trade for Rosen or something, they would probably bring in another quarterback. Because the way that our roster is set up, we got to have 3 quarterbacks on this roster right now.
Yeah. And so it's definitely interesting, man. I really want to see what the deal is with week 2. And so to be honest with you, I would much rather be facing Josh Rosen or Fitzpatrick. But I mean, then again, yeah.
I don't think you'll see Tua week 2. Week 2.
Interesting.
But okay, we shall see, man. But I don't think it'll matter, Dan. It's the Buffalo Bills. You beat nobody. We'll get to it. I'll wait. I'm not gonna go in.
Come on, man. It's the last time I'm checked. I'm pretty sure that we played 16 NFL teams. Right?
Yeah, 10 of them didn't make the playoffs. And you won all of them.
Hey,
Come on, man.
This is the year. Honestly, I don't want to give up. And so I don't want to give up my comeback for once week 2 is over and we do this live stream on whoever's channel. Because once the Bills blow the Dolphins out and you're like, okay, Dan, you got us this time. What I'm going to say is be like, well, you know what? We still didn't play anybody. So, we really didn't prove it. We really didn't prove anything.
Dan, come on now. Come on, man. Come on, Dan.
Oh, man, dude, listen. I am actually excited to see the Dolphins this year, man. I really like their defense. Their offense is still questioned. I did draft Devontae Parker. I really hope that he's okay. I saw that he was questionable on my fantasy lineup earlier. So, cross our fingers. Yeah.
No, he's out for the season. It just
really?
No, I'm just playing. I just wanted to teach you about your fantasy, man.
I was about bro. I'm fucked. Yo. Okay. All right. Richie, let's move on to the Jets. Richie, okay?
What up, Dan?
So, what's been dominating the Jets storylines is the fact that their entire wide receiver room is basically on life support, right at this time. Who are your healthy wide receivers?
So actually today we finally got our rookie wide receiver Denzel Mims to suit up for practice. He performed individual drills, and that's a good sign for him to actually come back. And we have such high expectations for Denzel Mims. When we first drafted him in the 2nd round, I thought he was a first-round talent that fell to the 2nd round. So we're so lucky to have him. And this is probably the first positive day for Jets training camp in the whole month, because it feels like every single day of training camp, Jets fans go in there all right, who's getting hurt? Which receiver's not getting through camp? So to answer your question, Denzel Mims is back. Brashad Perriman, he's dealing with a knee injury, so he's not out there. Jamison Crowder has been healthy all throughout camp. And Chris Hogan's been making some plays. And then we have all these no-name guys. We just signed Dante Moncrief. We have a guy named Chehu Cheeson. We have a guy named Josh Malone. We have a lot of no-name guys, and it's a big talk of Jets training camp, obviously all around the AFC East, not just the Jets. It's all around the NFL that the Jets wide receiver group are banged up. And in my draft last night in fantasy, I actually went on ESPN. I went on to the Jets wide receivers because I was curious, and literally every single receiver listed was either questionable or out. So it's just what's going on? We fired our training guy, strength and conditioning guy, to help the injuries, and it's not working out because all the wide receivers are banged up. I really am confident in this receiving group if healthy. I think Brashad Perriman on the outside with Denzel Mims on the other outside with James Crowder in the slot is actually a really slept-on receiving group. But the problem is they're just not healthy. Denzel Mims is a rookie. He needs to get those reps. He needs to be practicing with Sam Darnold, getting the chemistry. So he hasn't really practiced with Sam Darnold yet. So if he does start practicing, he has a week to prepare for the Bills. And he said in an interview that he's most definitely going to be ready for week 1. But how is he going to be ready physically, mentally? I don't know.
Yeah. And so that's definitely interesting as well. So there's definitely been a lot of media that I've been following from the Jets up until recently. And I mean, I hate to throw you under the bus for this. I really hate to throw you under the bus for this. But during your scrimmage, apparently your starters lost 27-0 to your backups. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, so that was a really tough day for Jets fans. Somehow our second team defense beat our first team offense, and our first team defense lost to our second team offense. Didn't make sense. I made a whole video on that exact thing, and I was just sitting on the camera. I'm like, guys, I don't know what to say. This just doesn't make sense to me. But luckily, the next scrimmage, they bounced back, and the Jets' first team offense completely obliterated the second team defense. So it's a good sign that they had a second scrimmage, and it was not like that at all. Sam Darnold literally marched down the field like he should against the second team and played well. So yes, you have every right to call out the Jets for that because it was concerning. So luckily they bounced back though.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I'm definitely looking forward to the week 1 matchups. I mean, Bills fans know that we have been prepping for the Jets. This coming week, I have a bunch of content lined up, completely surrounded by Bills v. Jets. So be on the lookout for that. But since we're on week 1, there just so happens to be another pair of teams in the AFC East that are facing off, right? And not the Bills and the Jets. We will get there, but we're going to be talking about the Pats and the Dolphins. Week 1, it's starting off. So let's make this interesting, right? So starting off with Tyson, first question right before I get to your final prediction. What is the one thing about the Dolphins that worries you about this first game?
You said, okay, I'm sorry. I just got ESPN alert.
Yeah.
The one thing that worries me about the Dolphins is the fact that they beat us once a year. That's pretty much it. Like Sam Darnold started his first game as a rookie for the Jets. Am I wrong?
Youngest quarterback ever to start week 1.
And so did Josh Allen, right?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen. Well, no, he didn't start. But
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, Dan.
Oh, sorry about that. And so Nathan Peterman threw like 4 picks, and then Josh Allen, he came in at the third quarter. So not technically.
Was that the first game?
That was the first game, yes. So I mean, he didn't start, but technically he did.
So let me get this straight. You got 2 who you guys would think franchise quarterbacks starting week 1 of their rookie season. Meanwhile, Tua can't beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen, and we're supposed to believe that he's your future. Listen, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a nice little role player. He'll get you as far as maybe an 8-8 or a 9-7 record. If you really believe that, Dolphins fans, if you really believe that Tua is your franchise, why can't he beat out Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick and start week 1? Are they trying to coddle him? Is it because he has injury problems? What's the problem?
Just like a Patriots fan, deflect away from the question with your little spy-gating. Listen, first of all, don't worry about Tua Tagovailoa and his development. Only thing you need to worry about with Tua is what he's going to do to your team in the future. But since you want to sit here and talk about Tua, why don't we get back on subject? And the reason why you wanted to get off subject is because Ryan Fitzpatrick was the last team that beat y'all at home. In the regular season. So
you're right.
Regular season. That's what you should be scared of. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The same Ryan Fitzpatrick who got absolutely demolished 38. I don't even remember the score.
Yeah.
He got killed so bad by that Patriots defense that they had to bring in poor Josh Rosen. So we can do revisionist history. But let's just be honest, that's not the same Patriots team either.
What happened week 16?
The last game of the regular season.
Then what happened week 16, huh? Well, Brady was getting old.
This is what I don't understand. Like, you're bragging about a meaningless game. Like, that game doesn't do anything for you.
It should have been.
Listen, TD, let me speak, bro.
It was the game that made y'all go play the wild card round.
Bro, we weren't going anywhere in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter.
Not with that offense.
You would have had a first round bye if we didn't beat y'all. Y'all had to wait.
Congratulations. You beat it. Listen. Congratulations. You beat us in a division game. You split. You haven't swept us in 20 damn years. Congratulations. But at the end of the day,
we beat y'all almost every year once, at least. So at least.
And what does that? Let me ask you this question, right? Let me ask you this question. What does that do? What has that done for you? Absolutely zilch. Nothing. Nada. You beating us in the Miami Miracle just won us another Super Bowl. Anything you do doesn't matter to me, bro.
Well,
I'm just being honest. At the end of the day,
no more Brady.
Listen,
no more Brady. No
listen,
more
there's a reason why I don't. This is the reason why I don't know any of your players, bro. Because and this goes for every single year. Like I have to literally go on ESPN.com and look up the depth chart and look at what players are on the Miami roster. You want to know why? Because nobody knows them except you. And I understand why you would know them. You're a fan. But no one's worried about no damn Miami.
The only thing you need to know about Miami is that W we gonna get. Dan, look at that score on his mask. Instead of ATL, that's gonna say MIA in 11 days.
And for everyone in the comment section, you want to know why I'm wearing a mask? So I don't catch this loser mentality from all these other three fan bases. I have to constantly wear a mask because I don't want that bad losing juju to rub off on me and my team.
And so I love the banter so far. This is beautiful. There's already a lot of tension here. But now, so we understood that with Tyson, he said that he's worried about the Dolphins because they somehow pull off a victory each and every single year against them. TD.
Yes.
It's clear that you're confident rating your team for week 1. But what is the thing about the Patriots that worries you most about that matchup? So the Miami,
and you know what's funny? You got that football, but I got the banner in the back. That same year we won a Super Bowl. You can hold up that football all you want, but all you got. Listen, after that game, listen. This is why I call it the Miami Miracle curse. Because ever since that game, you didn't win a game the rest of the season. You didn't win a game the rest of the season. You had a chance to make the playoffs, and you tanked the rest of the season, and we won a Super Bowl.
Hey, Dan, I hope he has all that energy in 2 weeks. We're going to see. But let me answer the question. What do I fear the most about the Patriots? It's only one. And that's Bill Belichick, okay? Everything they got going on look like it's rusting over there, right? So I don't worry about the team per se. The only thing that anybody has ever had to worry about with the Patriots has been Bill Belichick. What does he have under his sleeve? What does he have ready for the Miami Dolphins? But we're going to see. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Interesting. Well, based off of that exchange, I am more excited than ever to sort of watch the game. I'm pretty sure kickoff's at 1.
28-3, Dan. That's all you need to remember. 28-3.
All right, so the time is 1 p.m. I mean, not the score, 1 p.m., right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome. So, I mean, I'll probably have it.
You want my prediction? I forgot to give my prediction.
Oh, yeah. And so what's your prediction?
New England Patriots, 31. Miami Dolphins, pain. That's my prediction.
31 to pain. TD, what's yours?
31 to pain.
Bro, he don't even believe that. 28-3.
I do. I believe it in my heart of hearts.
28,
and it's at home too. Again, Cam Newton's first game back to prove a point. And the way he's been looking. 28-3. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes next week, TD.
28-3. Beautiful.
Devontae Parker about to just give Gilmore everything like he did last time.
Thank God. I love it. So
let's go,
week
baby.
1, first matchup, Pats and the Dolphins. Definitely make sure to tune in or at least update the score. I know Bills fans will be glued in to the for sure fucking blowout that will happen against the Jets. Yeah. No. All right, Richie. All right. So, I mean, like, I'm going to hold back the punches for now, but let's just sort of keep this theme. What's the one thing that worries you about the Bills matchup on week 1? Say that you had to pick one.
Okay. I'll start off with what I'm not worried about.
I'm not
worried about the Bills offense because week 1 against the Bills last year, Greg Williams embarrassed Josh Allen that offense for the first 3 quarters. And then CJ went down and our quarterback of the defense went out. And then Josh Allen marched down and he won the game. Yeah. So I think Greg Williams has the Bills offense in check. I don't think they're going to shut out the Bills offense at all. I think Josh Allen is going to make some plays for Stephon Diggs, but I just don't think they're going to be breaking out everywhere. But the one thing that does scare me is the Bills defense for sure. Trey White, I think he's going to lock down any wide receiver he goes against because he's one of the best corners in the league. So their defense, I think, is definitely what I'm scared of the most because they're a top 5 defense in the league. So, yeah, that's my take on the Bills.
And so first off, right before I tell you what I'm nervous about, about the Jets, and trust me, this was very hard for me to come up with. But All right. That whole, the Jets were beating the Bills for the first 3 quarters last year. That is such an everybody gets a trophy mentality. Who got the W? The Buffalo Bills did. As far as our offense is concerned, you need to understand that prior to the 2019 season, we had a junior varsity squad worth of wide receivers on our roster, very similar to the 2020 Jets. We had nobody. 2019, we had John Brown and Cole Beasley. John Brown, which ended up receiving for over 1,000 yards, and Cole Beasley still proving that he can create separation against even some of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. And we were still able to go 10-6 and go into the playoffs. A lot of people don't understand that adding a receiver like Stephon Diggs is going to open up this playbook like a motherfucker. Not only from the secondary purposes, because not only do we have Cole Beasley, who's a monster in separation, we have Stephon Diggs, who is arguably the best route runner in the entire NFL. He's going to open up everything. He's going to open up our run game. The defenses are going to be so obsessed with covering Stephon Diggs that there's going to be wide open Buffalo Bills all over the field the entire year, and everyone needs to watch it. But now for me to digress, the one thing that I'm worried about from the Jets would have to be Le'Veon Bell. Say that he can go on ahead and he could get back to where he was when he was with Pittsburgh. Because last year, the Buffalo Bills sort of struggled when it came down to stopping the run for several games. And while I love our defense, I think it's arguably one of the best, if not the best, in the league since we had all of those opt-outs with the New England Patriots. The run game was something that we struggled stopping, and especially since we ended up putting some new additions to our defensive line who have arguably done well during training camp. But I mean, let's be honest, with training camp and no preseason games, we really don't know how these guys are going to adjust during like real 100% football. So say, for example, that Le'Veon Bell can be Le'Veon Bell, then that would be like my biggest worry going into week 1.
Well, I hope your worry comes true because I want Le'Veon Bell to go back to that way. I've been waiting for that. I mean, just to carry off what your point, to see if Le'Veon Bell can do that. Le'Veon Bell is in the best shape of his life. He's the lightest he's ever been since high school, which is pretty wild. And he's extra motivated because everyone keeps counting him out. Every top 10 running back list that comes out, he's like not even in it. He's number 11. And Le'Veon Bell sees that. And as you know, Le'Veon Bell was the best running back in the entire NFL when he was on the Pittsburgh for like 3 years. So Le'Veon Bell has a huge chip on his shoulder. And Adam Gase admitted in the interviews that he did not utilize him right last year, and he learned from his mistake, which is a huge sign. So he told him that he wants to get Le'Veon Bell in space more. He wants to put Le'Veon Bell in the secondary because a guy like Le'Veon Bell, he's so talented at making guys miss in the secondary. Like he can make a DB miss so easily with a quick juke or even just be balanced and break a tackle. His problem last year was Gase would just give him the ball, and he would have no separation, no space to work with, and there's just 3 defensive linemen in his face because the offensive line was so bad. So I'm happy that we have a whole new offensive line, and we're also utilizing Le'Veon Bell all over the field because, as you guys know, Jets wide receivers are terrible, but Adam Gase is lining up Le'Veon Bell as a perimeter receiver, as a slot receiver, and everywhere. So Le'Veon Bell is going to be all over the field because he's probably our best wide receiver on this team besides the guys that are like injured. You know what I mean? Like Le'Veon Bell is going to have, I hope Gase doesn't ruin this because he really worries me. I'm just trying to go into season optimism. I see you down there, TD. And I really hope that Gase can utilize Le'Veon Bell properly. I really do.
And so TD still has post-traumatic stress disorder from Adam Gase.
10 bubble screens a game, okay? My words, 10 bubble screens a game.
Dude, the man. All right, listen, week 1 seems to be, definitely trying to come like super, super fast. And I mean, let's go on ahead and let's break into other questions that I'm just sort of curious about with everyone's team. Starting off with Tyson, and I mean, this is a question about your defense. So do you foresee the same type of production that you saw in 2019 or maybe a little bit more, although that you had some key departures and opt-outs during the offseason? So are you seeing the same production or maybe a little less or maybe a little more?
I don't think this defense is going to be as good as last year. That's because we have a tougher schedule. The first, until we played Baltimore, first 8 weeks of the season, I think we were undefeated and our defense was on a historic pace. And I think that just proved that the defense was still really good, because even in the playoff loss to Tennessee, the team only gave up 14 points, and it was just our offense. But like I said, we had a lot of opt-outs. Dante Hightower, Chung. Those are not just great players, but they're big leaders on our defensive side of the ball. And we're definitely going to miss them. And obviously, Kyle Van Noy went to go get that check in Miami, because that's where players go to die and go get paid and chill on South Beach. But other than that, I think it comes down to scheme. I think it comes down to, like, Belichick's is pretty much, he gets the most out of his defense with the least amount of talent on his side of the ball. But we do have the best corner in football. A lot of rookies, like Duger, is going to have to step up in the safety position, who we drafted in the second round, who I'm still convinced Belichick didn't pick him. He let his dog Nike did pick him. Listen, at the end of the day, I think, like I said, it comes down to scheme. That Belichick is going to put players in the position to succeed. And we have the toughest schedule in the NFL this season. We have a first place schedule because we finish first place every year. So we play the Chiefs and the Ravens, and you guys play whatever bottom dwelling teams in other divisions that couldn't make the playoffs last season, like every year, besides the Bills. So that with the first place schedule, can the defense keep Cam Newton within a close game to take the lead at the end? I think so. Like I said, man, we're in a really weird situation because we didn't have any preseason football. So we're just going off of what they did in training camp and scrimmage games and what beat writers say, when we really all don't have a clue of how our teams are going to perform week one. So I think you pretty much have to go on last season. Well, for me it does, as far as the defense goes. That's pretty much all I can go through, because I can't go off of what this offseason, just because of COVID and all the other stuff that's been happening. I just can't. It's hard to predict, but I'll be very disappointed if this defense doesn't show up. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I'm definitely interested to see what they can do. And so as far as Kyle Duggar, man, like, I actually wanted the Bills to get him, because yes, I do understand that he was like a D2, D3 prospect, but I mean, I have a feeling that he's about to ball. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about it. And I think that he's going to actually mesh really well and be able to temporarily take over Patrick Chung in my
As long as he doesn't turn into another Jordan Richards, second round bust from Stanford. Listen, anybody can be better than Jordan Richards or Cyrus Jones, that other bust that they drafted from Alabama, the worst Alabama cornerback to ever come from Nick Saban. Other than that, man, like I said, we in the second round we draft a lot of busts, man, and that's the only reason why I'm worried about Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, we're all excited to watch him play, that's for sure. And so, TD, going back to you, my friend, the running back situation, because it seems like the NFL is largely translating or transitioning to a running back by committee, and you obviously have two relatively talented running backs in Matt Breida and Howard. Do you see that there's going to be one that's going to be dominating the snaps, or do you foresee this being more so of a running back by committee down in Miami?
It's going to be running back by committee, but I do see Breida getting more snaps, but still in the committee form. So 55-45 mix, if that makes sense. Breida is more of a weapon in the open field as well. So on screen plays, even going out, lining out wide, catching the ball, getting in the slot, he's going to be more of a threat, not just running the ball, but also flexed out as well. So he's going to get more reps. But it's just going to be by committee. There's going to be no RB1. Of course, the depth chart will list the one, but you can't look much into it. I mean, we're just going to be workhorses. And not only that, we have some guys behind him. We tried to fleece the Jets this week by sending them Balaj, but he failed the physical. He got hurt in practice the day before we traded him to the Jets. But he failed the physical.
He gets hurt way before you can even get in the building.
So we tried to get one over on the Jets. But I think we're going to be good, man. We have some young guys that are up and coming as well. So it just depends on the mix, but it's just going to be by committee. Nothing special as, this is our guy, the number one guy running it down your throat all game. You might have somebody with 150 yards one game, and then they play the least amount of snaps the next week, because that's how Brian Flores is. It's whoever's going to give us the best chance to win that week based off of their skill set. For sure.
And so I honestly think that the Bills are going to go with a running back by committee myself. And so I think that it's going to be largely like a 60-40, 60% Devin Singletary, Zach Moss being like that third and short, that goal line running back. So, I mean, there's very few teams in the NFL right now that just have a workhorse back besides maybe 5 or 6. And that's just where it's going. So Jets. So a question for you. So, I mean, we all know what you feel about Adam Gase, and you're probably on the exact same page as about 95% of Jets fans. Let me ask you this. Say that the Jets have a down year this year. Is this Adam Gase's last year with the Jets? Is he being kicked to the curb?
He's definitely on the hot seat. I mean, if it just really worries me because his relationship with the general manager, there's a big relationship there. They go back a couple years. And it comes down to Adam Gase is so good at somehow finishing like decent. So he saves the job. Like last year, the Jets started 1-7. So I'm like, all right, fire him after this year. And then he finished the year 6-2. And then that really like showed the front office, Adam Gase finished 6-2. We have to give him another shot. You know what I mean? He always somehow does that. So if the Jets are terrible this year, and I mean like top 5 pick terrible, he needs to go. But it really hurts me because that's not how you develop a quarterback in Sam Darnold. Any quarterback, no matter who it is. You cannot have a quarterback go through 3 coaching changes in your first 4 years in the NFL. It's just terrible. So it's just such a weird thing. Do we want Adam Gase because we want continuity, or do we want to get rid of Adam Gase because he's not the future? So me personally, I do not think Adam Gase is the right guy. I cannot sit here and say with a straight face, Adam Gase is a guy that can lead the Jets to the Super Bowl ever. So deep down, I want him gone. But another side of me wants Adam Gase to completely prove me wrong. But do I think that's going to happen? No. But obviously, I'm going to be optimistic and hopeful for it. But if it doesn't happen, it's not like I'm like, I was wrong. You know, like I'm going in it with such a mindset where I'm really not going to be too depressed either way. If the Jets fire him, I'm ecstatic. If the Jets keep him, and it's for the reason like he coached the hell out of this Jets team and his offense shocked the world, and I'm jumping for joy. But if they keep him and the Jets finished 6-10, 5-11, and the offense was stale, that will be a problem.
Got it. Yeah, man. You know, like right throughout your entire spiel, I could just see TD shaking his head. The poor dude still has post-traumatic stress disorder from when that guy had the reins for the Miami Dolphins organization. And so I feel for him.
The problem, the problem with Gase is he doesn't know how to fit the mold with the general manager. The problem, do you know why Gase got fired? Our owner told the media why they fired Gase.
And
they
so
said because he wanted,
right?
No, he said we fired Adam Gase because he wanted to win now. Now let me explain to you what that means. Let me explain to you what that means, though. It makes sense. No. Let me help you out, Richie. You might want to be careful with the win now.
I know what you mean.
If you're building a team, right, and there's a process in building a team, being patient, waiting for the draft, making good decisions. Adam Gase wasn't having all that. He would rather spend your assets for the future to win now, and it keeps failing. And the owner got fed up with it and said, you know what? We got a general manager in Chris Greer who keeps on disagreeing with what Adam Gase wants to do. But Tannenbaum, the other general manager, is agreeing with Adam Gase. And they fired Tannenbaum and they end up firing Gase because he doesn't know how to help the GM build the team. He just wants his people now. He wants his players now instead of doing it the right way. And I hate to say this, but somewhat the Patriot way of developing actual talent instead of just bringing in all the players that you can to win.
TD, it's really interesting that you said that because the Jets' new general manager and Joe Douglas is exactly the opposite of what you're describing, Adam Gase.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets used to be that way. Win now. Go out there, sign the big ticket free agent, give him the max contract, waste a lot of money because we want to win now. Joe Douglas comes in and it's the complete opposite. This is our first free agency as a Jets fan, seeing Master at work. What up, Master? But he literally just spread out the love. He got a bunch of depth players. He drafted by trading back and acquiring assets for the future. And every single move so far in the offseason that Joe Douglas has made to acquire more cap space, it's in the Jets' nature, the Jets fans' nature, like, oh my gosh, who's Joe Douglas going out there to sign? Who's he going out there to make a splash? But, oh wait, no, Joe Douglas is acquiring cap space to roll over to next season because he has such a forward-thinking mentality. He has a long-term vision with this Jets team. So for you to say Adam Gase got fired because he wants to win now, I never knew that. So
yeah, and that's why I would say, Richie, fall in love with Douglas, not Gase, because when Tannenbaum got fired, Gase and Chris Greer bumped heads because Chris Greer was like, "No, we're not going to do that. No, I need this now." Yeah, that was the problem. Yeah, so you might see a situation where your left tackle goes down week 7, but your GM is saying, let's be patient. We got to deal with what we have now. We don't need to give away the farm just to go get somebody now. Let's be patient. We're not winning the Super Bowl this year anyway. Let's be patient. But Gates isn't going to like that. He's going to pressure him to get it done now. That's what got him fired in Miami. And he's probably going to try to pressure your GM if you face that type of situation. And that's where your GM's going to have to stand in there and say, no, sir.
And luckily, I have all the confidence in the world for Joe Douglas to look at Adam Gase in the eyes and be like, listen, man, I have the long-term plan. We're not giving up our future for this season. But go on, Dan.
Yeah, for sure. And so we'll definitely see how the Gase situation turns out in the Jets organization. But, I mean, last question, and so I think we'll probably spend a little bit of time on this. Now, it's all clear that we're all passionate about our own team, and we tend to bicker, but, I mean, we're all friends here. So I figure that we might as well sort of get together and sort of centralize around a topic that I think that we could all get excited about, and I think that the fans watching this right now might get excited about it as well. Fantasy football is in, baby. And so you boys in 5 leagues right now, I have no idea how the hell I'm going to manage 5 rosters at this point. But you know what? Fuck it. So what I thought is that we should go around the entire squad and we name 1 or 2 players from our teams that you think that we should draft for our fantasy team, starting off with Tyson.
Are we talking about high picks or low picks?
And so anywhere. Yeah. And so the first round,
fantasy,
round, whatever.
That's the thing about the Patriots, picking Patriots players in fantasy, because you don't know which one of them is gonna do something week to week, because they just the way the team is built. You'll have, Burkhead running crazy one week, and then you'll have Sony Michel. You know what I mean? So it's weird. But who would I pick in fantasy? Obviously, I'll pick Cam Newton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I'm not picking any of our receivers. I'm not. Right now, I'm not. At least right now, until we make a trade. But I might pick Roll Rosser, our controversial kicker that we drafted in the draft. He's kicking bombs in camp. I'd probably pick him.
Interesting.
He's not Scott Norwooding it, wide left and stuff in practice. But yeah, that's probably who I would pick is Justin Warwasser and most likely Cam Newton right now.
Interesting. And so like I've seen Cam Newton going in like the 14th or 15th round, so I could see him actually being a steal. Like nothing pisses me off.
Yeah, but people keep underestimating. Listen, people can keep underestimating him all you want. It's just gonna make the season even more sweeter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like nothing pisses me off more when someone drafts like a quarterback like first round. Like that you're about.
Well, you take running backs.
And so, like, I mean, like, that you're just about to take that kid's fucking money the second that you see somebody grab a running back, the second that you see a guy grab a quarterback in the first round. And I am even against going after, like, Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in the second. Like, I'm pure running back mentality in fantasy football for the first 3-4 rounds. But I digress. Richie, the Jets, all right? So, 1 player on your team or several wherever – who are you looking for to draft on your team this year?
So I actually have like a disease where I wouldn't call it disease. It's just a sickness. Every single year, I just am so tempted to draft Jets players, and it always bites me in the ass every single year, and I never learn from it. And again, it happened this year. But there actually are two players on the Jets that I think, if they're both healthy, will get high volume targets, and especially in PPR, which is Jamison Crowder and Chris Herndon. I think they're both extremely sleepers in this year's draft, whether you're a Jets fan or not, because against the Bills week 1, if you remember, Jamison Crowder had 14 receptions. So that's just ridiculous. Adam Gase loves the slot receivers, and Sam Darnold loves throwing the ball down the middle. So that's with Chris Herndon down the seam and Jamison Crowder. My two X factors, Brashad Perriman, I think, has a really big boomer bust trait, and it's just because of his knee injury that he's dealing with. He's going to be the number 1 receiver if he's healthy, but he has a knee that keeps swelling up. So he's definitely, I would not recommend drafting him. But if you see Chris Herndon and you want a backup tight end, I really highly recommend it, because Sam Darnold loves his tight end. I mean, his rookie season with Chris Herndon, they were both rookies and they had that instant connection. Unfortunately, Chris Herndon did not play last year due to injury and suspension. And then Ryan Griffin stepped in for Chris Herndon, and it seemed like Ryan Griffin was Sam Darnold's favorite target. So Sam Darnold finds his tight ends, because Sam Darnold's best at improvising, escaping the pocket, and capitalizing on a broken down play. And the tight end position is best at that, breaking out of the route, and they need to have that chemistry. Chris Herndon, Sam Darnold really has that chemistry where Sam Darnold breaks free of the pocket. He's waiting for Chris Herndon to break free of his route. He throws the back shoulder, and Sam Darnold's best at throwing on the run. That's his best trait. So my two guys would definitely be Jamison Crowder and Chris Herndon.
Interesting. And so I'm pretty sure that I picked up Crowder, I want to say, in one of my leagues. Probably won't start him, but I mean, he's like a good option.
He's a PPR guy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so TD, who would you recommend to draft for, let's say, that everyone's fantasy league from the Dolphins? Who's going to be someone that's going to be an absolute stud in PPR?
It's two guys. Everybody already know Devontae Parker.
Okay.
He's going to be top. I'm sure every league has him drafted first 3 rounds, first four at the worst case scenario. That's a given. But the other guy, some of you all may even want to go in your leagues right now and see if he's actually on the he might even actually still be a free agent, and that's Preston Williams. Because when, late in the draft, when people's looking at stats, they don't know the names of players. They're just looking at stats and see what they did the year before. He actually got hurt, but he picked up where he left off in camp so far. He's out there doing his thing, not missing a beat, looking actually superb. He was actually doing better than Devontae Parker before he got hurt. We're talking about a crisp route runner, a guy who can high point the ball, a guy who loves on the boundary catching an over-the-shoulder pass. He's the secret weapon, man. You're going to hear his name a lot this year. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to I project him 11 to 1,300 yards. I project him to have more than Parker, because Parker's probably going to get the best corner, because a lot of people don't know about Preston. But Preston Williams is the guy who a lot of people don't know about. We may look up and he's the best receiver on this team at some point.
Interesting. And so it's crazy, because I was telling you that I drafted Devontae Parker, and then maybe Tyson wants to hop in on this too. And should I start Parker week 1 when he's more than likely going to be lined up against Stephon Gilmore?
Go look at what he did. Go look at what he did last year against Stephon Gilmore.
Okay.
What was it? 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, or something like that?
Bro, listen. Let me ask you a question. What is Dolphins fans' infatuation with that stat? Like, I've never seen a fan base brag so much about yardage.
This is relevant, right, Dan? Dan, this is relevant, right?
Listen. Even Revis has gotten. Even Revis got lost before. Revis got lost before.
The whole game.
Congratulations, bro. He was tired at the end of the season. He was balling the entire season. I'm not going to give him that for one game. Get out of here with that, man.
Oh, my God. All right. So, I mean, we'll definitely
start him. Absolutely.
What did he do? What did Devontae Parker do in week 3 or 4 last season against Gilmore?
We didn't even know who our quarterback was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay,
well, hey, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, let's hope that Gilmore lines up And so maybe against your slot receiver a couple of times. Who knows? We'll see.
It doesn't matter, Dan. It doesn't matter.
Start them. Got it. All right. So Bills for fantasy drafts. I don't want to say stay away from Stephon Diggs, but I think that you can get a lot more value at drafting John Brown in either the 10th or the 11th round, especially because you need to understand that he received for over 1,000 yards last year. And for the first couple of weeks, I have a feeling that secondaries and defenses are going to be obsessed with figuring out what Stephon Diggs is doing. And I have a feeling that John Brown is going to absolutely blow up for at least the first half of the season. Just because you see what he was able to do right against some very talented cornerbacks last year. Now he's going to be going up against CB2s. I guarantee you that you can find John Brown in the 14th, 15th round and could potentially be a starting wide receiver for your team. Say that like your wide receiver room is looking relatively slim by the time your draft is concluding. John Brown, 110%. But yeah, guys, this was definitely a blast. And so I figured that I would go on ahead. Well, first, and so I want to poll the chat and see what they thought about this AFC East roundup. I feel like we're just getting better and better with each and every single week. We're starting to get more comfortable with each other, and we're starting to talk more shit. It just makes it way more entertaining. So please, in the chat, tell us how you feel about this AFC East roundtable. What do you think about it? And while we're getting these comments in, let's go on ahead and circle around the table for closing remarks, starting off with you, Jets.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And I just want to let you guys know as well, I have another YouTube channel that's not Jets related at all. It's called Touchdown Kingdom, and it's all about NFL. I actually made 2 videos on the AFC East. I broke down the whole quarterbacks. I made an AFC East quarterback showdown. So I talked about Josh Allen, Cam Newton, and I chose Tua as the Dolphins quarterback because I know he's the future. And I gave my opinions on all of them. And then I also made a running backs video as well. So I broke down the running back room. And it's not me on camera. It's me like editing all highlights together. So you won't have to see me on camera wearing Jet stuff. Don't worry. So if you guys are interested in that, it's called Touchdown Kingdom. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know about my new channel there.
All right, perfect. And so Tyson, you take it away.
Like I said, you can follow me at Masterwork on YouTube. The only thing I can say is I made a Discord. It's for shit talking NFL fans. It's usually really, really active during the regular season. So if you guys want to join it, I'll leave a link down in the comment section of this roundtable. As far as anything else goes, man, I keep hearing you're living in the past. Patriots fans are living in the past. The last time I checked, the year is 2020, and the Patriots are still on top of this division. The Patriots, until proven otherwise, are still on top of this division. So how are we living in the past when presently none of these other teams have done anything? So how can we live in the past when we're still stuck in the future and the Patriots are still on top? So someone please explain that to me. How are Patriots fans living in the past? Other than that, man, I got nothing else to say. And Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, and Scott Norwood lives in Canada.
No shit. TD, what you got for us, man?
Man, listen, man, these are amazing, man. I have a lot of fun every time, especially I can't wait to see how Master at Works reacts whenever he's a bottom feeder like they're about to be. But listen, man, y'all come check me out on TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. And hey, next week we'll be back on TD Fans Talk for this very same AFC East roundtable. We're gonna have a special show, guys, lined up for you all. The matchup show, I'll put it like that. Bills versus Jets, Dolphins versus what have you done for me lately? So it's gonna be real fun, man. Y'all make sure y'all come through. Again, TD Fans Talk. Y'all subscribe to the channel, and Dan, thank you for having us, man. We appreciate it, bro.
And so, yeah, man, it was a blast. Like TD said, I believe the stream is going to be on TD's channel next week. It's going to be a big one because it's like
he gets to host the big one, right?
Yeah. He gets to host the big one.
He planned it that way. I'm telling you.
I'm going to host it. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. How did I plan it that way when we first started? I said, any one of y'all want to go first? It's all y'all. Y'all like, no, you go first. All right.
That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we're going to have it on TD's channel. It's going to be big. You don't want to miss it. Like I said, I have each and every single one of their YouTube channels linked in the description. Do me a favor, Down Mafia. Go to their channels, subscribe. I really believe that mainstream sports media is on its way out and new sports media is on its way in, such as this little number that you're viewing. So be a part of the revolution. We love it. As far as an announcement from my end, second episode of Believe in Bills podcast with me and Aaron Williams dropped about an hour ago. If you want to listen to our projections for the 53-man roster, go subscribe on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And yeah, we'll go from there. Guys, again, thank you for joining us. And above all else, let's go Buffalo.
J-E-E.
Bills suck.